China said it.
And China's
said
been saying that. By the way,
they were telling the truth. They were telling the truth.
China's been telling the truth that no, it was created at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, by Ralph Baric. And this is what he says. Watch.
This virus was engineered. I think it was intentionally engineered as a part of a biodefense program.
What was the U.S. role?
So when they say biodefense, they mean it wasn't created for defense. It was created to be a weapon, and then they create the vaccine so it was created as a weapon, not to defend ourselves from someone else. Mm-hmm. It was a weapon to attack people, and then they create a vaccine so they could give it to our people who are so that's what that's all about. But anyway, so she asked him this question.
In that.
I think it was substantial, and this is why...
What was the role of the U.S. in creating this?
You know, when you look at the accountability for China, their accountability is not in the lab work and the creation of the virus. Their accountability is not following the international health regulations after they realized that they had a problem, and allowing people like me at CDC to come in and to help them within 48 hours like they were obligated to based on the treaty. But the U.S. role was substantial. One is they funded the research, both from NIH, the State Department, USAID, and the Defense Department. Mm. All four of those agencies helped fund this research. Secondly, the scientific mastermind behind this research is a guy named Ralph Baric at the University of North Carolina. And he was very involved in this research. I think he probably helped create some of the original viral lines, but I can't prove that. But he was very involved. And
some have said that they are concerned that it was actually developed here and China was framed. Is that possible?
Well, I don't know if they were framed, but I think there is a real possibility that the virus birthplace was Chapel Hill.
So he was saying that last year, and we need to ask him if Fort Detrick is the source of the pandemic. In summer 2019, an epidemic of an unknown respiratory disease spread across the United States when the CDC abruptly shut down Fort Detrick for serious safety violations. And this is from Global Biodefense. Research halted the U.S. Army Medical Research Institute of Infectious Diseases, the only biosec...
Okay, so I don't want to keep this video too long. I already shared this on Facebook and Twitter, so you can watch the whole thing on my Facebook page and on my Twitter, or I keep calling it Twitter, X account. But I also want to upload this on Insta and whatever else. So, look, those in the know, as in when this all happened, and I'm just going to call us the people who are awake compared to the people that are asleep. Those who are awake, all right, had already suspected that it had nothing to do with China and bats, right? We had already suspected that this was created on purpose. And we had already suspected that it was definitely America. We suspected that it was a combination of China and America doing it, or we suspected that it was Israel or America. One of that. But we suspected definitely for sure America. And then we also suspected the reason why it was also created was to bring about the vaccine. And that also in itself killed a lot of people. And not only killed a lot of people, but that also, the vaccine also created health issues that people are now having to deal with that took the vaccine. So, you know, a lot of people that didn't want to take the vaccine, but were forced to, especially here in Melbourne, because otherwise, you know, they wouldn't be able to work, I feel sorry for those ones. You know, they didn't want to take it, but they had to because of work. Okay, fair enough. But then you had those that were asleep that were like, oh no, we better get the vaccine because if we don't get it, you know, we're going to get sick by the COVID. But the vaccine never stopped you from getting COVID. Even if you took the vaccine, you still got COVID anyway, which was stupid. The vaccine was created again to make you sick further. So I don't know if I don't know if this is going to be a prediction or something, but I personally think this was a test run. I think it was a test run for a number of factors. A test run on the type of bioweapon, a test run on the solution that the governments were going to give, like what kind of vaccines or treatments that they were going to give to the people, and also a test run to see how much they can force people into submission, into taking these vaccines or medicines or solutions in air quotes, you know what I mean? They were testing the waters to see whether or not, you know, a lot of people are going to go along with it willingly. And they noticed that not a lot of people were, because there were a lot of protests happening, especially here in Melbourne. Because again, those people were awake compared to other people. And they were smart in doing so. A lot of people were smart in doing so in creating a thing where they had this little thing where it said, yeah, I took the jab, but they really didn't. So that was smart of them. If you know, you know. And some people were like, well, all right, if I don't want to get the jab, then I'm not going to go to work. And therefore, a lot of places also lost a lot of employees, and that affected the economy, which is what, happened here in Melbourne, and they realized that was a bad idea. So I think this event was testing the waters, and it also tested the waters to see the response of how people were going to react in a big global event, because people went nuts, especially over toilet paper. I couldn't believe that. Like, I thought people would go nuts over like food and stuff, which I think they probably did, but why people bought so much toilet paper, I don't understand. Like, people should have just, purchased things the way they normally purchase. I don't understand why it was necessary for people to have just gone insane and just stocked up on everything and then left nothing for other people. That was so inconsiderate, selfish of them, and I thought that was disgusting. And again, that was the way, again, the government saw how, what people were doing as well. And then, if things got worse, there could have been even riots. People could have been breaking into people's stores and stealing things even. So I suspect, like I said, personally, this is my opinion. I'm not alleging anything. It's my opinion that it was a test run. That's why COVID is just another flu. It doesn't really kill you. It's just like getting the cold. So they're making it a big deal. And and over exaggerating it was bullshit. Because a lot of people, especially on YouTube or Snapchat, when they went to video, when they went to the hospitals to record the hospitals to see whether or not they were full of people being sick due to COVID, they showed that a lot of hospitals were actually empty because not a lot of people were going. They weren't sick that bad to the point where they needed to die. And then if there were some, which was like the elderly or something, as soon as they went in, they didn't die due to COVID being the cause. They died due to something else. And I think the hospitals did something else to them. And then once the vaccine came into the picture, then it was the vaccine that was killing off the people, not COVID. And it was also giving other health issues as well. The vaccine is like completely way worse than COVID. So, yeah, that's why, yes, it's saying it's a bioweapon. I agree. But I also agree it's a test run because I feel like they might plan for something even bigger in the future, because what I know about the elites of the world that are literally running and controlling the world, and I'm talking about these elites that have so much money that they can buy a country, maybe even a continent. Like, and this is old money, like going back like fucking centuries, you know. These people want the population to be reduced, you know. And people like Bill Gates, Fauci, who else? I can't remember. People, like the World, is it the World Economic Forum or the World Health Organization? You know, actually it could be, you know what, I think two of them. Both of those as well. There's a lot of people who actually wants the world to have reduced population. They want the population to be reduced. And what's the best way to reduce the population? Is to release something onto the planet that will kill off a lot of people. So that's why I think this is a test run. And again, it's to see how people are going to react as well, and to see how much people are going to be controlled by the governments, if they're going to accept what they're saying, if they're going to listen and do what they say. And this is global. This is being tested globally in every country to see how people are going to be looked at and studied based on COVID and how it was released and all that. So, yeah.